Good morning, good morning. So we are continuing on our series of the basic stitches of crochet, and we have done our single crochet in 11 rows with 20, and then we've done our half double crochet in a chain of 20 in 11 rows, and we can see the difference. So today we're going to be learning the double crochet, and we can move along the typical stitches. So I'll put these out of here. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need your 5mm or H8 hook. You are going to need some yarn in any colour you want, a darning needle or embroidery needle, stitch markers if you find them helpful, and scissors to cut off, to fasten off. Sorry, these are new from yesterday. Oops. Don't throw around your scissors. Okay, so we're going to start off with our slip knot in our colour yarn of choice. So again, I fold the tail over my index finger, bring it around to form a cross, and then I hold the tail with my middle and thumb, and then I take the working yarn that's attached to the skein and bring it back up over my finger so it's going away from you, and then I take the back loop and I bring it over my finger to form the knot. So I just pop my hook in and then just pull it. So it's slightly bigger than or larger than my hook. So we're going to start off with a chain of 20, like we have been with our other swatches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Remember to bring move your fingers up your chain to hold it closer to the hook, so you got more control over the tension. So it's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we've got our chain of 20. We're going to make sure we're looking at the side with the V's and not the back with just the bumps. So we'll explain the anatomy of the chain or the stitches in another video, but I just want to make sure that you understand how or what the basic stitches are before we get into working in different parts of the chain. So I'm going to bring out my yarn over my finger, holding the working yarn with my index my ring and little finger, and we're going to skip the first chain, which is here, and we're going to skip the first 2 chains, and we're going to go into our 3rd chain. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, pop our hook through the top loop, yarn over, pull the loop through. So again, like with the half double crochet, you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to take the loop on our hook through 2, and then through 2, and then through. We're going to take our loop that we just yarned over and pull it through 2. So now we have 2 loops. We're going to yarn over again, and we're going to pull it through our last 2 loops. So that is the first double crochet. Where we skipped 2 chains, that's going to act as the first double crochet in our chain. So we're going to do it again, yarn over, pop your hook through the next loop, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2, and then that is our so that is our second actual double crochet, but 3rd in the line. So yarn over again, pop through the top loop or the top part of the chain, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to continue all the way down the chain. So yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, just keep going. Yarn over, push through the loop, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So just keep going all the way down the chain. Sorry, and I should have put a stitch marker in our first stitch. So that would be the top of the chain that we just did, that we skipped. So pop it in here. Sorry, it's catching on my threads. And that's our first stitch. So continue down the chain. Remembering the first row after the foundation chain is always going to be the hardest because it's a little bit more floppy. So yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, pop through the loop, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Keep going all the way down the chain. Now this stitch is great because it works up really fast. So if you're making a blanket, you're going to finish your blanket quicker because the stitches are taller. It is a little bit more holey in the sense the stitches aren't so tight as the single crochet and the half double crochet, but still great for a blanket, great for scarves, great for anything like that. And I make hats for the Brisbane Martyr Cancer Centre, and yeah, I just use the double crochet and it's perfect. So I've just done my last double crochet and we can count our stitches. Okay, so you can, these are called other posts of the stitch. Okay, so you can count the posts or you can count the top loops, up to you, but we can count the posts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And remember we have 18 because we skipped 2 stitches, 2 loops in our chain, and went into the third one. So we started with a chain of 20 and we're down to 18 because we used 2 of those as a mock double crochet. Okay, so we're always going to have 18. So what we want to do now that we are at our last stitch in the row is to set up for the next row. We want to chain 3, and that will get us to the height of the double crochet for the next round. Now you can, it depends. Depends on the thickness of your yarn and whether you want to do 3 or just 2 loops, 2 chains, sorry. But general rule 3 is good. But when you turn your work and you start working back, if you find that it's too tall, you can always pull it back and just do 2. So we'll see how 3 goes, but then if we need to pull it back, we can. So I'm going to go into the first stitch and yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and you can see it's curling over, so I'm going to pull it back and just do 2 for this one. Oops, I'll just take all of those out and I'll chain that again because I pulled out too many. So 1, 2. If you're using thicker yarn, probably chain 3 is good, will be good for that. Pull through, and you can see now it's not sort of the same height. It's not bending over in towards the other loop, other double crochet. So again, yarn over, we want to insert into the next stitch, and we want to go through both loops on that V, and then pull it back through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, or yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to continue all the way down the rows, chaining 2 or 3 depending on the thickness of your yarn, and how it looks when we're doing your chains. If you're finding that the stitches, the double crochets are taller than your chain 2, then just add another chain doing chain 3. It doesn't really matter in the long run, but it just makes for a neater edge. So we're going to keep doing our double crochets all the way down, and we're going to do 11 rows, and we're going to compare it to our half double and single crochets in the height that we get. But yeah, if you want to just continue on, and I'll meet you in the last stitch for our 11th row, and you can count the rows. I'll show you how to count the rows after this. And making sure that you've always got 18 in your row, 18 stitches across in your row. Because if you don't, if you add one, then your work will start to widen, and if you miss one, then your work will start to narrow. So you want to make sure that each row, before you get too far in, is always going to be the correct number of stitches. I don't know how many times I've gone through, started to make a beanie, and then got through and was like, oh no, my stitches, my stitch counts off. So to count the rows, you're going to count how many posts you've got. So you can see 1 row of posts, 2 row of posts. We've done 2 rows. You can also put in a second stitch marker at the beginning of each row. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we've got 18. So again, chain 2, turn your work, put in your first stitch, first double crochet, second, and then you can move your stitch marker that we put in previous row. You can pop that in at the top of your first stitch, just so you know where each stitch is. So I will continue on until I get to 11 rows. I'll meet you back here when you get to 11 rows, and then we'll fasten off again. And before I get to row 11, I just wanted to show you the single crochet here. We've done 11 rows of single crochet, and we've done 4 rows of the double crochet, and they're exactly the same. So you can see how fast it's working up with only doing 4 rows of the double crochet compared to 11 of the single crochet. You can see that you're gonna, for the same amount of stitches, you're gonna have a larger project. So I just thought that was interesting to show you where the single crochet matches up with the double crochet. So again, I've made it to 6 rows in the double crochet, and you can see 6 rows compared to 11 rows of the half double crochet. Again, you can see how fast it's working up. So we still have another 5 rows to go on this, so it's going to be quite significantly bigger. But I'll come back when I have finished my 11th, well, finish my 10th row. We'll start on the 11th together. So I'll meet you back here in just a minute. Sorry, I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So I've just finished my 11th row. I've counted my stitches, and I've weaved in the tail that we finished with. So missed all that, but we've got another tail, so we can do that. So we've got 18 stitches across and 11 vertically, so you can count those. You've got, we're going to count the posts, which are these, the tall stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we're going to count the posts along here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's a stitch here. That's our turning chain. We had 2 tails, but if we did this one already, so we'll do this one. So if you can't get it in with the edges because they're frayed, I just drape my yarn over the eye of my hook, my needle, sorry, and then pull my needle out so I've got an edge, like a doubled edge, and then I just wiggle it in. Sometimes that's easier than trying to get it in the ends that fray. So to weave in these, I'm just going to go through the middle of the stitches, making sure you don't go through to the other side. So you want to go through in between those stitches. You don't want to go from this side to that side. Okay, so just pop through, making sure you pull, but not so you distort the end of the stitch. And then I like to go back through. I'm not going to go back through the same place because it's only like a single thread we're going through. I'm just going to jump up to here to the top of the stitch and going to go through these stitches. And then if I can, I'm just going to go through these 2. Yeah, it's up to you how much you weave it through. I just like to make sure it's not going to come out. So you've hidden that along there. Take that off. Now I like to pull this a little bit tighter. Not too much, just a little bit. And then I'm going to cut the yarn. So I have a little tail. You can see the little tail I have. And then when I pull it back through, it's going to disappear underneath the first stitch, and that is our double crochet. Now you can see there's a lot more gaps, so it's not a good stitch for babies' blankets because little babies can get their fingers through. So there's a lot of give in it. So if you're looking to make something that you want a bit stretchy, this is a good stitch compared to the half double crochet, which is a little bit more holy, but not as much as the double crochet. And then the single crochet is like a really tight weave. So yeah, no little fingers are going to go through that. But you can see how they work up. Same amount of rows, different stitches. Single crochet, half double, and a double crochet. I've got one more stitch to show you, which is the treble crochet. Once I have done the treble crochet, we've pretty much covered the basics. I can go over the anatomy of a stitch, so when you're looking at patterns, you'll know whether you're going into what they call the back loop, the front loop, and that sort of thing. So keep practicing your double crochets, and I can show you what the double crochet looks like in a hat. So I've started this hat, and these are all double crochets until I get to some, well, they're all double crochets actually, they're just combined differently in these 2 rows, and I've combined 2 colors together in one stitch, so that's why I'm getting the pattern through. So I've got a pink and a yellow, but you can see these are all double crochets all the way to make a beanie. So that's what you can make with the double crochet. Keep practicing your double crochets, and I'll meet you back here in the next video to learn trebles. Happy crocheting!